Let's talk about the eMedSys Collections module. In the eMedSys Collections module, um, there are a couple processes that are set up to run in off hours. One is called process new, and one is called process existing. Now, I already gave you the speech of kind of what it is, but I'm just going to give you the shtick on it again of what collections is and what our automated collections is. And the way to do this is to compare it to what all the other computer vendors are trying to sell you, or most of the others. Okay, most other computer vendors, when they're trying to sell you collections, it's a report-driven thing where they tell you you can have the computer print out a report for everybody that owes you money over some specified aging period. You know, everybody over 45 or over 60, and they go, "This is a great collections tool because from this report you can find who's delinquent and you can work your collections." But there's a problem with that. Problem number one: you have to physically get up, wake up, and in the morning and say, "I'm going to do collections." It's the report-driven thing is something that's, you know, the your collector needs to, like, in that case, has to start up themselves. They have to decide they all of a sudden have time to work collections, which, by the way, is usually a problem for the smaller practices because the people on staff are so busy doing everything else that collections kind of, which is very important, kind of falls to the wayside. Um, so that's the first problem with the other way. Continuing with the other way is once they get the report, all it does is give them a tickler of who to go of who to research on. They literally have to research each patient. They start with Abigail Aardvark. They bring her account up. They look at what's been done. They look at what she owes, right? And then they decide, manual decision, on what to do. You know, what should I do next with Abigail? Do I send her a letter? Do I call her, et cetera, et cetera? So she works Abigail Aardvark. She goes to Aaron Abramson, yada yada yada. She works those things for a couple of hours, gets through the A's and half the B's. 5 o'clock, goes home, comes back the next day, and guess what? All of a sudden, the report is old for one thing, and she doesn't know what's happened with the with any of these patients. So she'll probably start with the C's and D's because it's only 1 day old, okay? And probably does a pretty good job. I mean, patients whose last name is A through D are probably current. Of course, Fred Zebra probably owes you $1 million because we've never been able to call him. He's at the end, right? Okay, that's why that even with a great report, why that type of collections just really doesn't work. Our system is an automated system. It's a workflow system. You have rules in there. It'll automatically catch accounts and insurance claims as they become delinquent, okay? And it will automatically send letters when letters need to be generated or put ticklers into a telephone follow-up pool when you need to make a phone call. And again, there are rules that are in the system. We actually give you a whole set of rules that you can modify, but in order to get you started quickly, we give you ones that our other customers are using. So again, process new is a process that runs, typically it's set up to run in off hours, maybe a couple times a week, where it just plows through all of your accounts looking for old delinquent balances and old or denied insurance claims. Okay. Now, what constitutes what constitutes an old balance? You get to set those rules. So I'm going to go in and show you that in your file maintenance under financial class, and I'm just going to bring as an example, I'm going to bring up Medicare financial class. Look down here. There's some collections rules. You see the rule says start patient collection cycle? That works on the patient balance. Insurance collection style works on claims. So in this rule, when process new runs, it looks for anybody whose primary insurance class, financial class is Medicare. If they have a balance that's 45 days or more and is $5 or more, it will stick a tickler about that account into the collection cycle module, and the cycle it will stick it into is the one called new collection account cycle. That's rule number. That's the first rule. By the way, we have our choice. We can change any of this. We can have a different cycle. We can have different days, etc. Okay. On the insurance side, which now in this case we'll look at Medicare claims. It will, when it plows through, it will find any claim that is 28 days old or more, that's more than $1, and it will stick a tickler into the cycle called first insurance review cycle. So these are two rules. I just showed you two of them. So you can have, again, the moral of the story is you set these up for your various financial classes, and these are the rules that Process New works on. We also have a rule, by the way, in our denial code file maintenance. Here's one. Here's a denial code for, it's denial code 120 for coverage expired. 120 is the Medicare code number for that. Okay. These denials can come in electronically, the codes. And you notice what it says here? If a 120 denial was posted, move the claim into coverage problems pool, because that's the problem. There's coverage expired. So you also, that Process New will also stick denied claims into work pools, insurance work pools. With me? Everybody clear on that? Now I will also tell you, since I know the system and you will soon learn it, that if you go into this, I'm going to go back to that screen I was on, the Medicare one. This cycle, new collections account cycle, is a series of steps. The first step is a review step, because most people don't want the system to just send out nasty letters without first looking at the account. So there's a step in there. The step is first, it'll say something like review account or something like that. That's the pool where these brand new delinquencies will appear. On the insurance side, same thing. They want it to go in. They want someone to review these insurance claims that are delinquent, rather than just reprinting a claim. Why reprint one if something else is wrong, right? So these are the first step in each one of these cycles is a review step. Okay. So yada yada yada. Process New runs. Then what your people do, or your collector or collectors do, is they go into the work screen. This is where the rubber hits the road. And the real key here is the collector work screen is going to feed your collectors only the accounts that need to work on. Okay, if someone's not delinquent, or if someone's on a payment plan and is keeping up, or something else is happening, they don't need to work on them. This is the only people that they need to look at. So you see how the system's doing all the auditing? Okay? On our previous example, Mary Jones had to look at each account to figure out what the heck was going on. What do we do next? And she had to go through every one, whether there's a letter out there or whether they've been paying or not paying. Here, only the people that need to have action. Now, by the way, there's a patient side, which is patient delinquent balances, and there's an insurance side, which is insurance claims. You see this first call to insurance pool? There's 857 entries in it. That's the first. That's that first initial review step. Why are there 857 entries? I'm a bad collector. It's a demo system. You shouldn't have this many at your practice. You won't, because your people are going to be working this all the time. With me? Okay. I like to show the patient side first, even though, I will show the patient side first, and then I'll go in and show the insurance side. But there's neat stuff to show with the patient side, like I showed the payment plans and stuff like that. So first of all, you see this initial review pool? There's two of them. Why are there two of them? Because we can subdivide these pools in a number of ways. Jill Dobbins may be the person that works in Medicare and Blue Cross patients, or maybe she works out of one site, and Kristen Demo works the other ones that are a different site or a different financial class, or one of them works A through K and the other one works L through Z. So you can subdivide these pools that are really at the same step into multiple places, right? You with me? So I'm going to actually work this pool, 51. By the way, when Jill, I'm the supervisor, so I get to see